Welcome to the day of our 30 days AI automation challenge. Today we are going to be doing some connections that will help us going forward in this course. So we are going to be doing two things. We are going to be creating Google credentials that will be helping us to use the local host of the n8n, and number two, we are going to also be creating OpenAI keys. In the last video I showed you how n8n gave us free credits to use OpenAI, but in this video I'm going to show you how to create our own, because you're going to be needing these two going forward in this course. Please kindly help me subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's go. Please, I want you to take a pen and paper and write down some of these steps so that at any point you need them, you can be able to refer back to them, because what we'll be doing today, it will be a bit more technical than what we have been doing, so you don't have to miss any step. Please write them down. Is that okay? All right, so you can go to Google. I'll put the link in the video description as well. Google console.cloud.google.com console.cloud.google.com. Is that okay? It will bring you exactly here. If it does not bring you here, it means that you have not registered with it. So all you have to do is just register, just sign up with your email, just with a one click, sign up with an email, and it brings you here. When it brings you here, you see that we have all other things here. Welcome, all of that. Now what I want you to do is you now create a new project. So if you are signing up new, you will see here create a new project, but I've been using Google Cloud, Console Cloud, so you just click on here, and when you click on here you can see that I've created like 2 or 3. Is that okay? So you now click on new project. Is that okay? Now once you click on new project, we now have to name our project. Please, you have to know the name you are naming the project. So for today I want to name it Dennis Local. All right, so I want to name it this name. I can see that Dennis Local, it cannot be changed later. Please note that this name is very important. Now just leave everything the way it is and click on create credentials. All right, so it has been created, and you can see that we have it here, create project Dennis Local has been created. So let me click on it, and once I click on it, it's supposed to show me, take me to this area here. Let's wait for it. Okay, so it has taken me to this area, and let's just click on this navigation bar here, and then come to where we have APIs and services, right? Then under APIs and services we have credentials. Is that okay? So we want to create a credential. Remember I said we are creating Google credentials, so we click on credentials. Is that okay? So once we click on credentials, let's allow it to load. And all right, so it has brought us here, and you can now see that these are the credentials that we have here. So you have to create your own credentials. Is that okay? To create our own credentials, we can now see that we have credentials here. So we click on create credentials, and we have API keys, old clients and ID and all of that. Please choose old client ID, and then it now opens. We will now configure it. Let me remove this. So we'll now configure it. Please, it's still loading, and you can see that we have here, just be following the step. That's why I say document them. So we click on configure consent screen. All right, so let's wait for it, and then we click on get started. All right, so you can now see that we have the app name here. So I want to rename it the same name that I named the other. So it was Dennis Local. All right, so that is the name. And then what is the email? The email, you should put the email, that any email at all. All right, so let me use this email. All right, just put any email here and click on next. And then under this audience, please choose external and click on next. Is that okay? And then here we have the email address again, so you just have to put the same email address and then click on next. We are done. Click on agree and click on continue. All right, so just click on the click and click on continue, and then click on create. Now it's going to create our credentials for us, and we are going to continue. Is that okay? Let's allow it to process. Say old configuration created. Is that okay? It has been created, and you can see, let's return this back here. So it has brought us back here, and what the next thing we need to do is just follow. Say you have not configured any old clients for this project. So what we need to do is just to click on create old client. They are telling us that we have not created anyone. So you say create old clients. Let's click on here, and then we can now choose web application. I just choose web application. What is the client's name? You can name it anything, but I still want to name it as Dennis Local, and then I can now come down. So now what is important here for us to actually get this is the authorized redirect URL. So we need to actually create our own authorized redirect URL. I will show, if you come to n8n, let's say, let me show you something. Let's say I click on this, let me click on this thing here, and if you want to create a credential, you will ask you for that redirect URL. It's somewhere here, see auth redirect URL. So we need to put the right auth redirect URL before we can actually configure this local host. Is that okay? Now, so let's close it and come back. So that is what, sorry, that's what they are actually asking us to put here. So for us to create this, we need to leave here and go to a website called Render. So see, what we are trying to do is that we want to run our n8n locally through another website and not just on Docker, because the one on Docker will not give us that auth redirect URL. So we need to actually run it in another way in order for it to work. Is that okay? Now, let me show you something. If we come to our local listing and you see here, you can see that it will not even show us where to put our that there's a place where we used to do where it will show us connect your email. Is that okay? Now this local is not showing us how to connect that email. Why? Because we have not put that the redirect URL, that's Google credentials. So that's why we need to run it differently in another website. So we are going to use Render. I think we have other websites that can do this, but we are going to be using Render. So to do that, you can click on start free. Of course, you just register with a free account, and I will show you how to actually do this. So to do this, let me just sign up with my Google. I don't actually like putting password and all of this. I like you to use my Google information. So I'll just click on this. Any email at all that you want to use, you can use, but I choose the second one and I click on continue. All right, so it's currently going. We will just create the redirect. You do everything will just be smooth, but that's why I say this one is a bit more technical than the one we have been building. Is that okay? So create a new series, blah blah blah. Please, you can see when we are creating new, they are asking us what kind of services do we want. You can see we have web services, we have this. If you have this already, there's a place where they will show you to create a new web service. Is that okay? So we want a web service, so we can click on this one. Click on this new web service, and we're going to create our own credentials. Is that okay? So when we click on that web service, it brought us here. All right, so we don't need JIT provider, we need existing image. If you notice, when we're building our Docker, it actually created, we went to an image where there was image and volume and created something. So that's why Render also works with existing image. Is that okay? And not public GIT and all of that. So for here, we have to put our image URL, and then we have to put our credentials. Is that okay? To put your image URL, please, I want you to type this n8n.io/n8n:letters. Is that okay? All right, so to do, once we put that, you can see these credentials is optional and you can leave it. So we click on connect and it's going to connect us. Let's come down. You can see that you will pay for most of their services, but the free version is enough for us, and then we can now click on the free version. Say for instances, spin down, let's scroll down. Once we click on this free version, please scroll down, and then you can see that we have deploy web services. Is that okay? So just click on deploy web services. So I click on it and let's allow it to load, and we will continue because we also need, once it deploys, okay, it has deployed and it's now here. So you can see that it has not given us a URL, just the way that Docker gave us a URL. Is that okay? And if you check here, this is the icon of a Docker. So we actually try to run, you understand now, we actually try to run the n8n locally on Docker, but getting the credentials from Render. So we now have this thing here. Is that okay? So let's scroll down, come to environment, because we are not done yet. Yeah, so that's why I said document the steps. We are not done yet. So come to here and click on environment, and we will now want to add variables. So click on variables, and I want you to type this. The first variable is webhook, just the way I'm typing, underscore URL, webhook underscore URL for the key, and then for the value, copy this URL here and then put it here as your key. Is that okay? So we create another variable again because we are creating two, and then for the name of the variable, I want you to type this here. Okay, I want you to type this. The next variable is vue underscore app underscore URL. Is that okay? That's the second variable, and the same value, the same link. Is that okay? Just post the same thing there. And then once we are done, you can now scroll down, just see it here is okay. So once you have put all this information, you can now click on save and deploy. So you can now see that it has been saved and deployed. Is that okay? So we are done, and we can now test this URL. All right, so in another tab, because once we test it in another, if you copy this URL and put it on another tab, it's supposed to actually show us like an n8n form, just the way we went to n8n website to register, and that time that we deploy it on local and we still try to register, is the same way. If you put this thing on the web, it's supposed to actually give us an opportunity to also register just the way it was in the first time. Is that okay? It's as if you are going to n8n website to register if we try this on the web. So we're going to try it, but before we try it, remember that when we deployed, we want it to wait until it deploys. Let me come back to events, and you can see the deployed is here. Let's check whether the deployed is live yet. Is that okay? If the deploy is live and is still, if it's not complete, you will actually see it here, not complete. Is that okay? So we want to actually test this on the web. Is that okay? But like I said again, you have to wait for it to deploy it completely, and it usually takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Is that okay? So don't rush to say, oh, it's not working. No, all right. If it does not deploy it completely and you try to test this link, it will not work. So give it some time to deploy it, and you should be able to see some tick, deploy live, deploy, all these things should be able to be tick like this. Is that okay? Or sometimes you can even wait for it. You see how it's running, you know, to deploy just the way we did it from that Docker. So allow it to run. So my own, I think I've waited for like 5 minutes. So let's come back and then put the link here just the way you put it. I'll put it here, and it should be able to run and show us a form just the way we are logging into n8n website. Is that okay? So if we check here, we see that we have n8n letters just based on what we did on render.com instead of localhost colon 5678 is now showing us on render. Is that okay? That's what we are trying to achieve, trying to run it locally on render and with Docker inclusive, in order for us to get the right credentials, in order to access Google API keys, Google credentials rather, OpenAI API keys, and all of that. Is that okay? So for this, let's see login new. Let's see login new, and I want to create a password. I want to create a password, just create it, but just logging in new, just the way we have been doing it, right? And I click and tick on this, click on next, and let's wait for it to open. And it's now open. Say access the other app services on this device. Yes, let me click on no. It's currently loading, and you can see that it's here. So of course, sometimes you can save. Now it's just basically the same questions when we're registering. Just follow the questions. So I will choose software, and then role that describes you, IT, what are you looking to automate, let's say cloud response, this, and that's all. And then who will your automation be mainly for my team and I, or you can choose myself. Let me choose myself. And then how big is your company? Just choose anyone. All right, so 100 to 159. And then how do you hear about us? YouTube, and click on get started. So if you click on get started, please click on send me a free license key. If you have been following us from the beginning, you should be able to know how all these things are done. Is that okay? So you can see that it now brings us exactly here, but this one's URL is on render, while the other one, like for this one here, we did on the 3 was under what? Was under localhost. But because from this localhost, without attaching any credentials, you can actually log in with your Google keys or Google information. That's why we are trying to run it on render. I keep saying this so that you can be able to understand and not get confused. Is that okay? So to do that, let's just try something. I'll just click on build the workflow. Just start it just the way we are, as if you are starting to build something. Click on here, and let's just say Google Sheet, for example. We can click on here and just add anyone at all. We are not here to do anything. It's still not showing the Google for us to log in, that we'll be able to access our Google Sheet from our email. but we still need to do something. That's why we need to do some setup. Is that okay? So come to setup. You can see we want to get our own OpenAI keys, and if you come here, you can now see that we have auth redirect URL, and the auth redirect URL is carrying a credential and it's localhost by this and this. If you have checked from here, from this local, the direct one we are using on the web, we were actually using, let me say, let me just add, let's say I want to add let me say I want to add Gmail from now, and then I can add this one, and let's say anyone at all, please add this one and here. So if you come here, you see that this one we're using the one directly from the free, but if you check this local host, you can't find it. Exactly, you can't find where to add a new one. That's why we have to run it on render. So, and we have been able to do that, and let's come back, and then you can see that this is the auth redirect URL. So we can now copy it, and once you copy it, we can now come back to our Google credentials here, and then we can click on here and then click and add the link there. Is that okay? So click on create. Once you have added, you click on create. So you can now see that we have now gotten our client ID and everything is now here for us. So the most important thing we need here is the client secret and the client ID. So to do that, let's copy it, and then let's go back to our workflow. We have done, put it here under client ID, and then let's come back to our Google, and then let's also copy the client secret key, copy it and come here, and then this is the client secret key, and paste it. Is that okay? So we have pasted it. You can now see that it has automatically show us the sign in with Google. So you can now connect it with your Google account. Is that okay? So once you click on here, of course, as usual, you can be able to connect it with any of your email, and it will be accessible here. Okay, I don't want to do it because the video is becoming too long. But the thing is that once you click on here, and maybe probably you discover any, let's say you discover any error message that maybe you have not been given access, please come back here and check here. If you check here, you see that we have, it may take 5 minutes to a few hours for settings to take effect. Is that okay? Your own might work immediately, my own it might not work immediately. Is because of this. So give it some time before you can now try to connect your Google account to it. I guarantee you it will work, and I will just do this, it will work. Is that okay? So once you have connected it to your Google account, well, that is all, and you have now gotten a locally run n8n on render that cannot be used with Google account credentials. Is that okay? Now that was the first thing we say we will teach today. Now let's just quickly run through the second one that we want to do today. Now the second one we are going to do today in the day 8, this is the 8th class, is that we want to actually get OpenAI keys. Remember that the one we got from this one here is the free one that is given to us. So if you want to actually get another one for the local host, you have to actually get the API keys. And remember that API keys are bought. You need to buy them, you need to pay for them. All right, but let me show you how to get the free one that you can use. Go to a platform called platform.openai.com. And once you log in or register with your email, it will bring you to this interface. Is that okay? Either it brings you to this interface, or it brings you to an interface where you can be able to see somewhere here dashboard. Is that okay? Dashboard. But it brings me here. This is the home, and this is where it's supposed to bring you. I'm only saying this for those of you who might actually have issues with it, or maybe it will not bring you here. So all you have to do is come to API keys. We want to create API keys, and then you can now come to create new API, either this one or this one. Create new API keys, and then you can see here. So just name it any name, and let me just say Dennis Local, for example. This is just the same one that I've been using, Dennis Local, and then I can now say default project. You can leave it at default project and just click on create my key, API key. So the API keys have been created, and all I have to do is open it, just like, of course, copy it. That's what I mean by open it. Once you copy the API keys, you can now use it to configure any OpenAI that you want. Remember, let's go back to what we were building in, I think, the 6 or 7. Let's choose the 6. So you can see that we're building this from here, right? So if I double click on it, double click on this AI, you can see that we needed an API keys, but we use the free one from it. So if you want to configure it, you can now come to create new credentials, and you can see we now have API keys. So you can now paste your own personalized API key. So we just want to get a personalized API keys, and we can click, you can see claim, yes, we have pasted it, and just click on save, and it will now be say credentials successfully created inside your personal space. You cannot close it, and let me close it and show you again. So if we come here, I don't want to save anything, please, and if I click on here, you can see that we now have two API keys, the one that I created for myself and the one that was given free from n8n. This one was given free from n8n, and this one is free, given for me. But like I've said again, these API keys, you need to pay for them. This one I just showed you is like a test. Is that okay? So if you have a project that you're supposed to do for somebody and you need an AI that will to integrate to work on his website or anywhere, you need to actually buy these keys, and that's why you need to charge. Your charge will be included with all these things. But for this one, is for, you can use it for test, and I think it lasts for some period of time. Okay, so that is all for what we have for today. Please kindly help me subscribe to the channel and like this video. More so, assignment is very important. This is day 8, and your assignment is very simple. Practice to create your Google credentials, and of course create your OpenAI. Follow the step by step that I've just done in this video. If you're having issues with it, it's because you are fast. Is that okay? Please, each of these processes takes time. Anything that, let's say when you are creating that Google API keys from render, if it's taking you time, please allow it for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you come back to it. The same thing that happens when you're trying to log in. Remember, we have not even logged in here because I told you that, sorry, we have not even logged in here. Let me come back. We have not even logged in here because why? Because I told you that it will take some time for these keys to work. Look at it here. It will take 5 minutes. So it actually takes time to load or deploy most of these things. So relax and don't don't rush to say, coach, this is not working. It's working, and you can see that I've been demonstrating them here. Is that okay? So thank you so much. I will see you in the day 9.